So let's start with greater than. Greater than is oftentimes confused with being larger than, but greater has nothing to do with the size of the number. It has to do with its positive value. So greater than means to be more positive. And if you think about a number line, like the one that we have at the bottom here, where are our more positive values? They're to the right on the number line. As we start at 0 and we move to the right, if you go all the way to the right, eventually you'll hit that number positive infinity, which is the greatest possible number that we know of. So we can also associate greater than with being to the right on a number line. Let's do a quick example. So let's say I want to compare the numbers 3 and 9. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on my number line. So 3 is probably about here, and 9 is probably about there, give or take. So which one is greater? Which of these numbers is closer to positive infinity? Well, as I move from left to right, 9 is more positive because it's to the right of 3 on the number line, which means 9 is greater than 3. 9 is greater than 3. And notice the symbol for greater is open to the 9 because the 9 is the greater value. Let's look at another example that's a little bit tougher. What about -3 and -9? Now, most of us, again, think, well, -3 is the smaller number, -9 is the bigger number, so -9 is greater. But be careful here. That's what your brain wants you to think. Let's put them both on a number line. Here's where -3 is, and -9 is somewhere around there. And remember, greater means more positive, to the right of. So as I'm looking along here, -3 is closer to positive infinity, which means -3 is actually greater than -9. So if I were to write out this inequality statement, I would start with -3, the symbol for greater than, and -9. So the negatives are a little bit tough because you can't be fooled by the quote size of the number, but where it actually is on the number line. Let's talk about less than. So less than is the opposite of greater than. So if greater than means more positive, less than means more negative. And on a number line, our negative values are to the left, all the way to the left until you hit the least possible value, which is -infinity. So when we look at negative values, we can also think of that as being to the left on a number line. So let's look at these same examples. Let's look at 3 and 9, and then -3 and -9, since they're already on our number line. So we'll start with 3 and 9. So if I look at 3 and 9 on the number line, and as I move this time from right to left, notice how 3 is to the left of 9. That means 3 is more negative, and 3 is less than 9. So to write this out, I would start with the number 3. The symbol for less than is opposite from greater than. It's going to be open away from 3, and the number 9. And we would read this as 3 is less than 9. Let's look at -3 and -9. -9 and -3. Which one is more negative, meaning more to the left and closer to -infinity? -9, which means that -9 is less than -3. So as long as you can keep this in mind, that greater and less than has to do with its positive and negative value, then you won't be fooled when you get to the negative side of the number line. Let's start actually going into our first skill in this video, which is the ability to graph inequalities.